Have you ever wondered how a starfish can grow back its lost arm, or how a lizard can regrow its tail? Welcome to the fascinating world of regeneration in science. Imagine being able to regrow an arm, a leg, or even a heart. Sounds like a science fiction, doesn't it? Yet, this is a reality for many creatures on our planet. From starfish to lizards and salamanders to spiders, the animal kingdom is teeming with examples of regeneration. Let's start with starfish. These incredible marine animals have the ability to regenerate not just their arms, but their entire bodies. Lose an arm to a predator? No problem. A new one will grow back. Now that's resilience for you. Then we have lizards, which are probably the most famous regenerators. When threatened, some lizards can voluntarily detach their tails to escape predators. And the most amazing part? They can grow it back, bone, muscle, and all. Salamanders, on the other hand, take regeneration to a whole new level. They can regenerate entire limbs, their spinal cord, parts of their heart and eyes, and even sections of their brain. It's almost as if they have their own personal toolkit for body repair. Now you might be thinking, what about us humans? Well, we do have some regenerative abilities, although they are rather limited compared to our animal friends. For instance, our liver can regrow parts of itself, and our skin is constantly renewing. Even our blood cells are replaced every few months. However, we are far from regrowing entire limbs or organs. So why is it that some animals can regenerate while others can't? What's the secret behind this remarkable ability? Is it possible for humans to one day unlock this potential? As we unravel the mysteries of regeneration, we are not only discovering the secrets of nature, but also paving the way for medical breakthroughs that could revolutionize healthcare. Now let's dissect the process of regeneration and understand how this miraculous phenomenon actually works. The process of regeneration begins when an organism sustains an injury. This is the first step, known as wound healing. Yes, you heard it right. A wound is not just a simple cut or bruise. It's the starting point of a fascinating journey of self-repair and regeneration. It all starts with a clot. When you sustain an injury, your body immediately springs into action. Blood vessels at the site of the wound constrict to reduce bleeding. Platelets, the tiny cells in your blood, clump together to form a clot. This clot acts as a temporary barrier, preventing further blood loss and keeping harmful bacteria out. We call this phase the clotting stage. Next comes the inflammation phase. This is your body's SOS signal, calling in white blood cells to the site of the injury. These cells are like your body's cleanup crew, removing dead cells and bacteria to prevent infection. You'll notice this stage as the area around the wound may become red, swollen, and might feel a bit warm. Now we move on to the proliferation phase. Here, your body starts to rebuild. New cells, called fibroblasts, begin to grow at the wound site. They produce a protein called collagen, which forms a new layer of skin. This new skin might appear reddish and lumpy at first, but don't worry, it's a sign of healing and progress. Finally, we reach the remodeling phase. This is when your body fine-tunes the new tissue, making it stronger and more like the original skin. The collagen fibers reorganize, the new skin tightens, and the wound contracts. This phase can take several months to complete, depending on the size and severity of the wound. So, wound healing is not just about patching up a cut or scrape. It's a complex and coordinated process that prepares the body for the next step of regeneration. This process is vital because it sets the stage for the real magic to happen, the creation of new tissue and organs. Once the wound is healed, the body begins the next step of regeneration, known as blastoma formation. So, stick around as we dive deeper into the miraculous world of regeneration in the next scene. The second step in the regenerative process is the formation of a blastoma, a mass of cells capable of growth and regeneration. But what exactly is a blastoma and how does it form? Let's dive right in. Imagine you're a cell in an injured organism. You've been doing your job, specific and specialized, for the entirety of your existence. But now, the organism is injured, and it's time for you to step up and become a superhero. This is where the true magic of regeneration begins. Our superhero cell, like all cells, has a unique identity. It may be a muscle cell, a skin cell, or even a nerve cell, but in response to injury, the cell undergoes a process called dedifferentiation. This is a fascinating biological process where the cell forgets its specific role and reverts to a more primitive, stem-like state. It's like a seasoned detective deciding to go back to police academy to relearn the basics, but with a twist. This time, they're not just learning to be a detective, but also a firefighter, a paramedic, and a host of other roles. Once our cells have dedifferentiated, they congregate at the injury site, forming a blastema. This is a mass of cells that have forgotten their past and are ready to take on new roles. They're like a group of actors, waiting for their script to tell them which character they will play next. The blastema is a hub of potential, a nursery for new cells. It's a place where cells are not bound by their past, but rather are free to become whatever the organism needs. These cells begin to divide and multiply, proliferating in response to the organism's needs. And then, the moment of truth arrives. The cells in the blastema, having multiplied and prepared, begin to differentiate. They take on new roles, transforming into the various cells needed to form new tissues and organs. It's a remarkable process, a testament to the incredible adaptability and resilience of life. After the blastema forms, the cells then begin to differentiate and form new tissues and organs. The final step in the regenerative process is the formation of new tissues and organs from the cells in the blastema. At this stage, a fascinating transformation takes place. The cells within the blastema, which were once a mixed-up mass of undifferentiated cells, start to specialize. This is a process known as differentiation. In differentiation, each cell is assigned a specific role. Some cells might become skin cells, others might become muscle cells, and yet others might become nerve cells. Each cell's fate is determined by a complex interplay of signals and cues from its surroundings and its own genetic programming. This process is a bit like a construction project. The blastema is the construction site, the cells are the workers, and differentiation is the process of assigning each worker a specific task. Just as a construction project needs different types of workers, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and so on, the regenerating tissue or organ needs different types of cells. Once the cells have differentiated, they start to arrange themselves into tissues and organs. This is another complex process, guided by a combination of chemical signals and mechanical forces. It's a bit like the workers on a construction site coming together to build a house or a skyscraper. Each tissue and organ has its own unique structure and function. For example, skin tissue forms a protective barrier, muscle tissue generates movement, and nerve tissue transmits signals. These structures and functions are the result of the specific arrangement and interaction of the cells within each tissue or organ. The formation of new tissues and organs from the cells in the blastema is the final step in the regenerative process. But it's not the end of the story. The newly formed tissues and organs need to integrate with the rest of the organism, and the organism needs to adapt to its new parts. This integration and adaptation can take some time, and it may involve further changes at the cellular and tissue level. And there you have it, the completion of the regenerative process with brand new tissues and organs formed. So, to recap, the process of regeneration is a fascinating phenomenon that allows organisms to regrow lost or damaged parts of their bodies. This natural marvel is something that has piqued the interest of scientists and laypeople alike for centuries. We began our journey with an overview of wound healing, a crucial initial step in the regeneration process. It's during this phase that the body recognizes the injury and sets the healing machine in motion. Cells near the wounded area begin to multiply and migrate over the damaged site, laying the groundwork for the new tissue. Next, we delved into the mysteries of the blastema, a mass of undifferentiated cells that appear at the site of a wound. This is where the magic of regeneration truly starts to unfold. These cells hold the potential to become any type of tissue, from skin and muscles to bones, and even entire organs. We then explored the intricate process of tissue and organ formation. Here, the undifferentiated cells in the blastema start to receive signals that guide their development into specific tissues and organs. Just like a construction blueprint, the blastema cells follow a set of instructions to build the right structures at the right places, resulting in a fully functional and identical replacement of the lost part. It's important to remember that while some organisms like starfish and salamanders are masters of regeneration, humans have a more limited capacity. We can regrow certain tissues like liver and skin, but regrowing a whole limb or organ is currently beyond our reach. However, the understanding we gain from studying these regenerative processes in other organisms could potentially unlock similar capabilities in humans. Imagine a world where a lost limb isn't a lifetime sentence, but just a temporary setback. With advancements in science, who knows, we might one day be able to unlock the full regenerative potential in humans. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the miracle of regeneration.